Hello friends, welcome back to Radiant Alchemy. So if you found this channel, chances are good that you're experiencing some pain right now. So I wanted to jump right in with some tips and tricks that I've learned over the course of the last few years. Now bear with me because this is the best I can do right now. I just wanted to jump in authentically and show you how I really experience things. So the number one recommendation that I have for you, as you can see, comfy clothes. I'm not wearing anything special at this time because I wanted to let you know, no bras ladies. You want to relieve as much pressure as possible from your body. If possible, when my whole body's on fire, I recommend that you do this without clothes on at all if you're in a safe place. But otherwise, you want to find things that are comfortable, not restrictive, and not heavy. I used to attempt to wear dresses, shawls, things like that. You don't want any weight pressing down on your body. So as close as possible to nothing. Second, as you can see, I'm sitting on pillows, not a chair, because I happen to be very short. And you want to maintain as neutral a position as possible. If you can sit like this while you're meditating, while you're working, whatever you can do, you want your feet flat on the floor, your knees as square as they can be. You don't want to do any squashing of your body in this area. You want to maintain as good a posture as possible. I try not to sit on a chair with the back because then you're always leaning back. You're putting this weird pressure through the front of your body and onto your lower back here. Another benefit of pillows, no pressure on your bottom. So sit on a pillow, sit on a cushion, whatever works for you. You're going to want to find something that makes you comfortable. Now, if you're actually experiencing pain, and this is going to sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people come to me and tell me that they're experiencing pain, and the first thing I have to tell them is, lie down. So if you're experiencing pain, if your feet hurt, if your hips hurt, if your neck hurts, lie down. Try to find a neutral position where you're laying down. Lie down in darkness or low light is very helpful. But I'm going to show you right now a position that when I was going through physical therapy, of all the positions they showed me, this was the most helpful. So, and again, bear with me as we're doing this in real time here. These are my pillows, my couch pillows, my 4 couch pillows that I have stacked up to be a good height for me. You're going to have to find a way that this works for you. And I don't usually do this on the floor because the floor is very hard. And you're going to want to relieve as much pressure from your body as possible. No pressure points, neutral positions. So this is called a table position. And what you want to do is lie down, flat and square, as if you were in the chair, but lying down. And what this does, abdominally, is release any pressure and relax the lower abdomen and lower back areas. So this keeps you in a square and neutral position. In my opinion, it also helps to relax your muscles in this direction, which doesn't happen very often, and it pulls through the force of gravity. You're reversing gravity here, and it helps to naturally pull back and realign everything into your core. So you might be in a position like this if, say, you were doing sit-ups or crunches, which I'm not going to do because that puts immense strain on your upper body and core if you're not very strong already. And when you're doing this, you probably can't see completely, but you can put your arms in whatever position feels natural to you. You can put your arms flat down. You can put your arms across your body or across your stomach. To me, across my stomach feels extremely comfortable. However, it also puts pressure on my stomach, on this core area, which we're trying really hard to relax. Oh, see, I can feel it already. When you lay like this, it's going to start pulling this down through the force of gravity, and you're going to start feeling that lovely sinking feeling in here. And that's good. So lie like this, lie with your hands up in a nice square like that next to your head. You want to keep your head as straight as possible. Lie back, relax, and just stare at that beautiful ceiling. So another thing I want to mention about this sort of position is you don't want to force anything. If your knees, your feet start tingling, let them drop to the sides. Let them be open, because that's going to relieve pressure through your outer hip and let things flow towards the center. If that hurts, right now my lower back is starting to hurt because I am lying on this floor. Again, you want to relieve all pressure points. Try not to put anything too hard under your knees, because if you cut off these nerves under the backs of your legs here, you're going to cause tingling in your knees and lower extremities, and you don't want that. You want to relieve as much pressure as possible from as much of your body as possible at once. So whatever feels comfortable to you, do that. Accept the position your body wants from you. Wherever your arms want to be, I spend a lot of time with them up near my shoulders like this. And some people get worried that that's going to compress something in this area. This position is designed to let stuff flow upward. So when your arms want to go back, let them go back. If they want to be above your head, or like a snow angel, let them do that. Whatever is natural for you. If it's going to pull your shoulders, you could try putting something underneath your shoulders, but for the most part you want to lie flat. And anything you're doing up here is going to cause a curve to your body. So in this particular position, for the point that we're aiming at, you want to be flat here. Something else I've noticed is that you don't necessarily want to raise your elbows, because that's going to, again, curve your body and arch them back in a different way. So you're just going to want to try and sort of let everything fall back into place where it wants to be. Rolling over to get up. Extremely useful. Don't try to sit up, especially if you're in pain. Okay, this is something that the physical therapist taught me that was hugely helpful. When I try to get out of bed in the morning, for example, don't just flip up and stick your feet on the floor and try to sit up out of a lying down position. Roll over, press up, and get back up naturally through the use of all your muscles through the core. So that position, if you do nothing else, I do recommend doing it on a couch that has very firm cushions, nice supportive cushions. You don't want to sink in necessarily. You want to support your body in as flat a position as possible. So that's my number one recommendation. Comfy clothes, neutral position, and relieving pressure. Top three. So, you may have noticed also I'm wearing slippers. So slippers and loose pants and no restrictive straps. So slippers are extremely helpful because you want to give your toes room to spread. You want to give your feet room to fully support your legs and body. Comfy slippers, nice thick memory foam, really helpful. Because if you have pressure on your feet all day, every day, we're always on our feet, we're always on our bottom, that pressure is going to build up, and that pressure is going to dig on your heels, that pressure is going to dig on the ball of your foot, that pressure is going to dig on your toes. If you have wide feet like I happen to, my toes get squishy in my shoes all the time, and my poor little toes go like this. Alright, so the one thing that you want to do, you're going to eventually, over the course of time, try to be straightening out your feet. And when I say try, I don't mean actively try. I mean you're going to give your feet the room to spread back out that they need. And then they're going to start to realign in a proper position. Now if you need arch supports and you need things like that for your feet, that's great, that's very helpful. There's a time and a place for tools. But if you're at home, if you're meditating, if you're relaxing and trying to relieve pain, I would start by relieving all of that pressuring. Wear comfy slippers, wear nice big slippers. These slippers are a size bigger than I actually need because I wanted to give my feet plenty of room to move around. I wanted to be able to wiggle my toes. I wanted my toes to be able to scrunch when they wanted to be able to scrunch. So allow your body to be in the positions that it wants to be in. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the tools that I used over various points in time. Although before I move on to that, I do want to mention alternating your position frequently, moderately frequently, as much as necessary. I would say in the beginning, when I was first experiencing really intense chronic pain all over my body and I was just on fire, I would lie down for a long time. Don't get me wrong, I would lie down as much as humanly possible. But don't lie down forever. I wouldn't lie down for more than the time that you would normally be sleeping without moving, because what you want to do is alternate your position. Even when you're lying down in a neutral position, you're still putting pressure on certain parts of your body. For example, your back. You could be lying down perfectly perfect, but your back is still touching the ground. Somewhere is going to have pressure. And what you want to do is alternate your position. So if you are sitting, and you're going to be sitting in this position, you're putting pressure on your bottom. Yeah, it's relieving pressure everywhere else, but you're still putting pressure on your bottom. So sit for an hour, stand for an hour, walk for an hour, lie down for an hour, get up, move around, try different chairs. That's another thing that I did. I don't have them right here with me. However, I have an ottoman. I have a slightly differently height ottoman. I have a chair that I like a lot. None of these things is perfect, but each of them offers a slightly different position. So I would alternate your position. Put your legs straight. Put your legs wide. Alternate your position as much as is necessary for you to relieve pressure. Try to keep your arms flat. Keep your arms open. Do whatever they want to do. Another video, I'm going to be going over some mudras, which are finger positions that are used for meditation, which help to stimulate different parts of the nervous system. Something about mudras is when you're forcing your fingers to touch certain fingers, you are putting strain on certain nerves. And that's what you're doing, is you're stimulating those parts of the body. However, it does force your fingers into a position. So something I've noticed is that I just keep my hands open. Just keep my hands open. Let them go where they want to go. Move my fingers around. Try to keep your wrists straight. Try to keep your wrists flat. Sometimes even my hands way too much for my legs. So I'll just move them slightly. Move them slightly. Micro positioning. And by micro positioning, I don't even mean an inch. I mean a millimeter. You probably can't even see that motion, but I'm moving my thumb around here. So literally, if your thumb hurts in this position, move it to a different position, or allow it to move itself to a different position. Something you might notice is that you might get cramps, twitches, little things that go on. Sometimes these are helpful and they're your body replacing itself. So sometimes if, say, your fingers twitch, that might be because your nerves and your muscles are flowing through your hands at this moment. If your toes start twitching or your calves start cramping, that might be because you're actually relaxing your nerve endings and your lymph nodes and everything in that area. And I say might be because there is the opposite possibility. If you are in a decline state and you're straining yourself and you're stressing yourself and you get a cramp or a stabby position in your toe or a stabby feeling in your toe or the bottom of your foot, those are not good. If you're just walking around and your eyes start twitching, that's not great. But if you're meditating and you're lying down and your eyes or your cheeks start twitching, that's okay. So you have to get to know your body and you have to get to know these feelings. So notice these feelings when you're doing these relaxing things like lying in bed and taking your mind off the world. Notice. Just take note in the back of your mind of how you physically experience sensation. So the next thing I'm going to do with you real quick is just go over a couple. I'm going to take one of these down so I can see you a little bit better. Okay. Just go over a couple of the things that I've done over the course of time. So I've been experiencing wrist pain, thumb pain, tendinitis my whole life. And I say my whole life. I guess what I mean is since my teenage years. And one of the things that they give you for that sort of thing is finger braces, thumb braces, wrist braces. Oh, I think perhaps they're not in this box. Okay, so those are standard. You know what those look like. It's a wrist brace. It's a thumb brace. I like the thumb braces a lot. I'm surprised they're not in here. But I like thumb braces a lot. For me, it's better to help keep this thumb in an open space, supported, straight, but not like in a hole, not crushed by the wrist brace. Something else, the next thing that I discovered was back braces. So I have several different types of back braces, and I'm going to just briefly go over those with you today. So my recommendation with braces is use them while they're needed, use them as a tool, but don't use them as a crutch. So this is a small one that just goes around the lower back and hips, right? And that helps me to hold in the lower abdomen area, keep the lower back straight, because my pain, when it really flared up, started from my lower back. But when I did that, I noticed it was affecting my upper area, the upper abdomen. So I would combine that with a larger back brace. I haven't put these on in quite some time. I have been healing, and I want to say you can too. So, a larger back brace to hold the body upwards. Very helpful. So as you can see, I'm maintaining posture. It's kind of like a corset in that respect. It helps you to support your muscles and your posture and your spine and all your nerves when your body isn't yet strong enough to do that itself. Remembering here that the goal is your body will eventually learn to do this itself. Now I admit I'm not fully fit to the point where I can do sit-ups and things like that, but as you can see, I can move around now without pain. and that's huge. So, holding the body in, supporting the positions. Super helpful, super useful. You want to make sure, if you're female, that your breasts are not getting crushed. What we want to be able to do is lift the chest area, right? So, I don't know if any of you have seen these. This old school exercise where you're lifting the chest muscles. I used to do that for a few minutes. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, little bits every day. Speaking of the chest area, chest brace. So this is designed to come up over this way. But another thing I did was use this to support the upper back area. So putting it on backwards. Holding up the back and using these straps under the chest, again to support the upper abdomen and helping to keep the back more straight. And by straight, I don't mean pin straight, because keep in mind your spine has a curve. So you're not trying to unnaturally force it into a position it doesn't always go in. But you are trying to help keep your body straight for it. Straight for you. So, and I can feel this already, the pressure on my stomach. So, this is helpful during the daytime if you're trying to be active to support your body in a proper position. Again, when you're lying down, when you're relaxing, you could use these things briefly, but you're going to find that the pressure is something you want to take off, because the purpose of the lying down is to replace, replenish, allow your body to flow. So, another type of chest brace that I have is this guy. Now, this is not a brace per se. What this actually is a shield. This is a shield for defensive things like martial arts. So this was actually rather helpful because it helps to hold the breasts up and in these cupped areas and support this chest. See, now that's something that none of these other braces do, is they don't lift and support this area. So as you can see, my upper body currently is really supported. Really packed in there, I was about to say, but I don't want to put it in a negative light. My upper body in this getup is fully straightened. Think of it like full body traction, but not forcefully. You're not pulling, you're not pushing. These straps up here are very loose. I'm not putting pressure on anything. You're just supporting your body. So if you find that you're crunching a lot, you're looking down all the time, that's going to sort of loosen all of this musculature throughout your torso. And this is the part of you that you need to keep the most healthy. Arguably with the legs, which I'll go over later. So, very helpful for, again, brief periods of time while you need it. Don't make it a crutch, but make it a tool to relieve pressure on your upper chest, your clavicles, the front of your shoulders. Is going to be helped by not having any sort of weight pulling down. And you can do this even if you're a small-breasted girl. If you're a male, it's possible that this sort of brace will work better for you, just to sort of compress everything if you don't have a lot going on up here. But I would suggest at least trying to relieve this sort of pressure. So another thing that I have, and I'm going to take this guy off here, is this sort of harness, which is a shoulder brace. And this might work for you better than it worked for me. It didn't work for me because, again, I'm quite small and I need child-sized equipment. So this sort of brace is designed to be worn like a backpack, and I just got to find these straps and pull the body. Oops. Okay, let's fix that. So this is designed to be worn like a backpack and sort of pull the body backwards. Pull your shoulders backwards, and that helped me for a little while. So I did wear this, but again, for me it was almost more helpful to simply wear a backpack because I'm quite small. So this pulls the upper back straight. Let me turn around there so you can see that. And then these are designed to wrap around the front. But because I am very small, they're huge. So I think what I did was, I think I tied them in a knot when I used this. And I did use this for quite a while. I think I tied it like that and just did that. And I wore this under my clothes for some time. Just to help me keep my shoulders up, keep my back straight. As you can see, my shoulders are more straight in this position. But you don't want to overcorrect. You don't want to overarch, because that's going to cause more pain. But this did help to sort of remind me to stay straight. Stop looking down. One of my biggest things that I found in the beginning was don't look down. And it's very hard because our entire world is down. Everything we do is on a table. Everything we do is in our hands. Making food, anything, everything, eating even. You're in a downward position. I would literally just look up. Like, keep your eyes pointed up. Keep your neck pointed up. That's going to help to maintain this sort of natural curve in here. Because a lot of us have problems where our necks get straightened out or anti-curved even. They do have tools for this. I found that was too much pressure to lie my neck on a curve. So simply just looking up, not like craning your neck, but just sort of looking a little bit higher, a little bit above your eye line in that direction rather than this direction. Because what we want to do is we want to bring everything back up. We want to keep our bodies straight. We want to grow like a plant towards the sky. Alright, we don't want to fall and compress in on ourselves. We want to be strong and rooted and firm, resilient, not necessarily like a tree, more like a reed. We want to be able to be fluid and move, but we want to keep growing towards the sky, towards the sun. So, okay, wait, now I gotta undo this too. So, be careful when you do things. Don't twist. When you're taking off your clothes, don't twist your shoulders and your middle back. Slip your arms out gently. Gentle, patient, simple motions. Relieve as much pressure as possible in everything that you do. I also got a neck pillow, which I'm not going to inflate at this time, but it's a neck brace pillow to help me remember to look up. It does immobilize your neck, but it also supports your head. Your head is very heavy. Your head is a very heavy part of your body. And so for a while, that kind of support was quite helpful in reminding me to look up. And I found this to keep the curve in my neck much less painful than, I don't know if you've ever seen them. I got rid of mine, but it's like a little hammock for your head. I didn't like that. I mean, it's up to you. You do what you find is nice and necessary for your body. For me, that didn't work. I also have a few other things in here, heating pad, and recently I've been gifted an electric blanket. It's very helpful to soothe your muscles with heat. You can use cold to relieve inflammation, but you want to use heat to to relax. So it's actually better to be a little bit warm. You're going to flow a little more freely when you're a little bit warm. I also have a TENS machine or two. I haven't even opened this one, but TENS machine I used for a little while. It's an electrical stimulant directly onto your nerves and muscles. I used it on my neck and I used it on my upper back. It did help a little bit, rather my lower back. It did help a little bit. Some people swear by them. I personally did like it, but again, I would recommend that you don't use anything as a crutch for too long. You want to make sure your body can start to move itself. So the goal for all of this is to get your body to a state where it can finally begin moving itself, and you don't need to deliver those electrical impulses in order to relax your muscles. Relaxing your mind to help relax the body. And then something else that I did over time that I discovered, toe separators. Earlier I was mentioning that we want to give our toes room to breathe, so to speak. So toe separators was helpful for me when my feet were starting to ache. Oh, I have another thing in the other room. Okay. So when my feet were starting to ache, I would roll them. I have a little like nubby foot roller, and I would roll my feet to relax my muscles, stimulate my foot muscles, put my toes in little toe separators, and then put my feet up on the pillows. And that I could only hold for a little while because my toes did start to go numb a little bit, and that's because of the pressure. But it helped to align the flow of the muscle through the toe. Because as I mentioned, my toes got a little squished over time in my shoes, and so this helped. Something else that I began doing after I noticed that it helped was putting them in my fingers. Rather than using a full-on wrist brace, which is going to compress your hand into that position, I just put them in my fingers for a little bit. Again, not too long. Not like maybe half an hour tops. Alright, just for a little bit, just to sort of look at how that spreads out the tendons, the nerves in your fingers. Just kind of helps to put them in a neutral position that you don't need to hold. Now when I do this, my thumb is actually unsupported. So I try not to do that for too long. Again, I try to alternate it. There's this other type of toe separator. Sometimes I put my thumb in there and just sort of prop up my other fingers and just sort of do that. So again, you're just lightly supporting a neutral position. The whole goal, neutral positioning, light support for a short while, and then freedom to replace. And then I'll just mention briefly, these are just simple things that any doctor will tell you, anybody, any physical therapist will tell you. Just simple supports. Wrist braces, ankle braces, knee braces, back braces. But if you don't want to live your life in a brace, do this too. Right? And do this whole process that we're about to talk about in all of my other videos about mental wellness, helping to align your physical well-being. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of my physical tactics for helping to support the body. Again, neutral positioning, comfortable clothing or no clothing, relieving as much pressure as possible, hopefully all pressure, as much pressure as possible for as long as possible, alternating your positions into a neutral position that is comfortable for you. Neutral, meaning not forced, not pinched, not pushed, aligned and flowing. Neutral positioning. Comfortable shoes. Supportive but free. Free on your toes. I wear slippers a lot. I wear sandals. I don't wear flip-flops with the thong between your toes. I don't wear those because it puts pressure on the nerves on the inside of your toe. So just a simple sandal with the strap, anything that you can wear that lets your feet be free is going to be helpful. Something cushiony, something like that. The feet are really, truly the support center for the entire body. My masseuse does spend some time on my feet and has mentioned that the feet are critical for holding up and supporting the knees, the hips, the lower back, and everything that's attached to it. So you may have heard me say physical therapy and massage. I'd also throw in there acupuncture, which I have not tried, so I cannot personally recommend because I'm still a little skittish about people actually manipulating my nerves directly. However, I have friends who experience chronic pain who swear by acupuncture. And medication. So I'm not advocating holistic practices overseeing an actual scientific doctor. Do that. See your doctor. Get on medications if they're necessary and appropriate for you. Get some sort of underlying idea of why your body's in pain. Because the thing that is causing your pain is the thing that you're going to have to help relieve. You know, if you have arthritis, if you have hypermobility, if you have fibromyalgia, which is just chronic undiagnosed nerve pain, which is one of the many things that I've been diagnosed with. If you have whatever condition that you have, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have this, if you have that, you're going to need to address the symptoms therein in order to help relieve your body, fundamentally. However, these techniques are useful for everything because they're very basic. And I'm not saying that as to say, you know, everybody should already know to do these things. What I'm saying is a holistic and natural practice and a natural way of life and a natural way of addressing the body's functionality is going to be conducive to wellness because it's fundamental, it's elemental, it's natural, by which I mean it's addressing the natural cellular functionality of the human animal. And I would strongly recommend lying down, closing your eyes, relaxing your mind, and allowing your body to flow. In other videos, we're going to be addressing underlying emotional causes of physical pain. We're going to be addressing a lot of other things that can cause the pain in the first place. But I wanted to give you just a brief glimpse into some things you can do to immediately alleviate symptoms. Take a bath, soak in hot water. Taking a bath and lying down as much as possible in the bathtub is super helpful for alleviating pressure because you never get to float unless you're in the bathtub. We can't just float in midair. One of the things that I was addressing is that when you're lying down, you're still putting pressure on your back. So alternating your position, but also lying in a bathtub for a little while. If you're lucky enough, fortunate enough to have a hot tub or a swimming pool, you can try to just float on the water. So helpful, so peaceful, so relaxing. So I hope that you put some of these tips and tricks to use, and I hope that when I have a meditation that you might be listening to, or some advice that you might be listening to, or I'm doing a pick a card reading and I'm giving you channeled messages for your situation, that you are able to lie back, close your eyes, relax your mind, and receive that information on an intrinsic level where you are in a state of relaxation and as close to being pain-free as possible. So I do hope that this helps you, and I thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this. and I wish you all the best.